Welcome back, fellas. Let's put this out in the ether. You know what? You know when girls said this cliche phrases, and like when you have their opinion on women and you choose not to date women, they always like to say, "Who hurt you?" Right? Who hurt you? Right? They always seem like the reason why some men choose not to date women or have certain views on women. They always seem like they always got hurt, that the man is hurt. They assume like the man got hurt. No, the reason why, alright, there's other way of learning things. Right? Sure people can learn things from experiences, but the smart way of learning things is by other people's experiences, by other people's word, by figuring patterns, right? That's how you figure out that something is not optimal for your situations, right? And for some reason, they always seem like the only thing that caused a man to behave this way, to think this way about women, is that he was hurt in life, right? No, the way I see it is that it's best off just to learn from other people's mistakes. And apparently, right? And apparently, a lot of people been making the same mistakes, right? So you, as a man, have to understand patterns, right? So you wouldn't make the same mistakes. So you would not be in the same position as the man that made the mistakes. So you learn from other people. Like you learn wisdom from other people. You learn wisdom from an old man. He tell you about his mistakes and you learn from it, right? You learn what happened in history, right? You learn, for example, right? You learn the thing that lead to the Great Depression, right? Easy loans, people using credits and all that stuff, right? Those are things that you learned from the past, so you wouldn't repeat it in the future, right? So we learned the thing that led to the Great Depression was this, that, and the third. So what do we do? What do we do, right? What's the smartest thing we could do? Learn what they did wrong so it won't happen again in the future. And that's what guys are doing, right? Guys are learning other guys' mistakes and they applied it so they wouldn't have to make the same mistakes. But no, this kind of form of thinking is totally elude women. They always think about what hurt a guy. Who hurt a guy? No one hurt a guy. A smart guy learn from other men's mistakes. A smart guy take other men's words for it. A smart guy pick up on certain patterns of what not to do when you're with this certain people, right? It's not necessarily mean that a guy is hurt by a woman, right? For me, why do I think like this? I wasn't hurt by a woman. Sure, I have my experience as well about how I dated or what's going on in my life, but that's not the entire thing that made my decision the way it is. You learn from anecdotal evidence, other people's stories, right? But for some reason, this idea of learning from anecdotes totally eludes women's mind. They always go back to square one, like, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Nobody hurt me. Alright? If anything, I was the one that initiated the breakup with women. Right? I was the one that's easily moved away from these women. Right? I was the one that's not attached to this woman. Right? All of my breakup with women, I was not attached to it. I was never attached to any woman I affiliated with. Right? So it's easy for me to get over these women. Right? And unfortunately, most men out there are incapable of getting over a woman, right? So they get hurt, and this is where the idea of who hurt you come from, right? Girls see other guys getting hurt, and it took them a long time to get over this woman, so they presume that the reason why guys like this towards women is because they get hurt in life. Not necessarily, right? The reason why some guys are like this is because they learn from other guys' mistakes. They follow the same patterns, and it's a wise way of learning things. To mention it, it's a smart way of learning things. Why would you want to learn it the hard way? Alright? Why would you want to put yourself in the worst positions? By experiencing it the hard way. Right? So, if anything, it's only logical to learn from other people's mistakes. Right? Get other people's stories. Talk to a lot of guys about their situation. So you wouldn't fall under to these categories, right? So if you're a man and dating is a new thing to you, you ask other men how things are like, right? How is this? What should I be looking out for? How women behave, right? These kind of things, so you wouldn't fall into that category, right? And as should you be attached to a woman? How long should you be attached to a woman? And all these questions, you should always a lot of questions, right? A lot of questions. Ask a guy about how their relationship is like, how their marriage like, right? If you suddenly decide to get married, so you won't have to deal with all these problems, right? It's a smart thing to do. Like first time, for example, if you're like if you're a couple, right? If you are assumed to be father, right? The smart thing to do is ask other fathers what to expect when you become a father, right? Some stuff like that, so you won't fail, right? Learn other fathers' mistakes, so you won't have to repeat the same mistakes. Ask your father what it's hard being a father, so you won't have to repeat that mistakes. No, but they always think that the reason why guys behave like this is because somebody hurt them in their life, right? And it's totally awesome. It's telling you how disconnected women can be, how one sided, how two dimensional they can be. They're not dimensional. They're not 3-dimensional thinkers, right? I tell you that, right? That's why it's hard for women like to solve or create equation, all this stuff, right? The way that their thought patterns. I'm not saying to disparage them, but they don't think the way guys think, right? They don't learn from other guys' mistakes. That's why a lot of women, right? When you tell them, they repeat the same mistake over and over. They don't learn from other people's mistakes. They have to fall down over and over for them to understand. That's why a lot of women out there, they file for divorce and they do the same thing over again, and then get into a failed marriage and then file for divorce again. They don't learn the lessons. Right? Guys, when they learn their lessons, right, they try as much as they can to mitigate that risk, right? So they wouldn't repeat the same mistakes, right? So by a man learning from anecdotal evidence, you're mitigating your risk, so you wouldn't make that mistakes at all, right? But no, women can't do that. They don't learn. They fall down repeatedly and still make the same mistakes over, right? A guy fall down, he noticed what he's done wrong, and he correct himself. Women cannot correct himself, right? Women can't do that. Guys are able to correct themselves, and this is a way to correct themselves, correct the situations, so you won't set yourself up for failure. Women, time after time, they always set themselves up for failure, big time. They get into failed marriages. Break up their marriages, right, and realize that the decision they made was the wrong decisions, right? Who told you to divorce your husband? Who told you to pick this guy? Who told you to sleep with Chad and Tyrone? You know it's not a good thing to be doing this, right? No, they don't understand that, right? People tell them it's not a good thing to be sleeping around, and what they do, they go sleeping around, having high body counts, and later on in life, they regret to make that decision in life. I shouldn't be sleeping around with all these people. Oh, boo! Well, we told you so, and other people told you so. It's not optimal. It's not prime to be doing this kind of stuff. And what you do it anyway. You don't learn from other people's anecdotal evidence or stories. You don't learn from other people's stories. Guys are capable of doing that. Women are not capable of doing that, right? Right? And women have to learn the hard way by a lot of guys mistreating them. That's why I believe that it's the other way around, right? When they tell a guy or ask a guy who hurt you, I believe is the woman position. That's a woman position. That she should ask herself, who hurt you? Not you don't ask me who hurt me. I'm fine. The question is, who hurt you, woman? Right? What man hurt you? Not what woman hurt me. I'm fine. I learn from other people's mistakes. Right? I mitigated my risks. Right? I understand people's situations. I take people advice. Right? But no, women don't take people advice. Right? They make that mistake. They want to experience it for themselves. For some reason, they can't learn how to mitigate the risk. But in actuality, right? They're the one who's being hurt. Right? So the question is back at them. Who hurt you, woman? Right? Why are you so resentful of men? Who hurt you? Feminists, who hurt you? Right? Women's activists, who hurt you? Right? It should be reversed back to them. No, but they ask us who hurt us. No, hurt us, alright? If a man is hurt by a woman, man, just get man up. Right? Just dust yourself off and try again. Don't get mad at a woman, right? But anyway, learn from your mistakes, right? Learn from other guys' stories. Learn from anecdotal evidence. Learn certain patterns. Learn how to pick up signals, right? If you can't know or don't know how to pick up signals or understand how pattern and how it links to each other, you need to step your game up. But I digress. The point is, right? The point is of this video is that it's not who hurt men, it's who hurt women. That's the questions, right? Men, we know how to learn from our mistakes. We learn how to understand people. We learn how to listen to people. Women can't do that. But I digress, right? Let me know what you think. You think my points are correct? You think I'm making sense? You think it's not who hurt men? You think it's who hurt women? And they just redirect it to us because they can't understand the situation? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. If you like my videos, you can like, share, subscribe. I drop videos there. And on that note, guys, as always, thank you for listening to me, and peace and blessings.